Now I'm very excited to get to introduce to you all for the very first time the winners of the 2025 New York Life Foundation Excellence in Summer Learning Award. This rigorous recognition, and it's rigorous if you've ever applied for it, it is rigorous. Rigorous recognition of program has been shining a spotlight on great programs for over 20 years. And now it is my honor to welcome Jan Brown from the New York Life Foundation, a steadfast partner investing in elevating excellence in summer learning nationwide. Jan, thank you for your commitment to the field, and please take it away.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? I think I'm on. Okay, great. Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. I'm honored to join you on behalf of the New York Life Foundation to celebrate this year's New York Life Excellence in Summer Learning and Founders Award recipients. These awards recognize programs that not only keep young people safe and engaged during the summer, but also spark learning and nurture whole child development. Since 2005, NSLA has shone a spotlight on what high-quality summer learning looks like in action. And this year's honorees truly show the range of what's possible. And so, without further ado, the envelope, please. The winners are, for this year, the GEMS Camp Summer Experience in San Antonio, Woodcraft Rangers in Los Angeles, Summer Achievers collaboration between the School District of Philadelphia and the City of Philadelphia in Philadelphia, and the Cedar Rapids Public Library. So from STEM identity building and mentorship to library-led workforce pathways to cross-agency collaboration, the work of these winners demonstrate how summer can be a season of opportunity. Congratulations to each of you. At the New York Life Foundation, we know that learning doesn't stop in June, and that communities need visible, practical models of what really works in the summer. So that is why we support these awards, to bring attention to the most impactful summer programs out there, like our 4 winners today. The New York Life Foundation focuses on 2 things: middle school education and supporting children in times of bereavement. In both of these areas, we focus on meeting young people where they are and helping them thrive through life's transitions. Our long-standing partnership with NSLA reflects that commitment. These awards not only celebrate great programs, but also build a growing knowledge base that helps policymakers, funders like us, and communities, like those of you on this webinar, scale excellence. To the educators, librarians, mentors, and community partners who make this possible, thank you. To our fellow funders and policymakers, we invite you to learn from these excellent models and help bring them to even more young people nationwide. And most importantly, to the young people you serve, your resilience and brilliance inspires us to keep investing in your potential all year long. Congratulations again to the winners, and thank you to NSLA for elevating what excellence in summer learning looks like.
Thank you so much, Jan. We appreciate you. We appreciate New York Life, without question. If you've been sitting for a while and you're feeling kind of tired, lean back, lean back. If you've been sitting for a while and you're feeling kind of tired, lean back, lean back. As an out-of-school time person, you know, we got to bring the energy into the space, and we got to bring a little bit of movement in that space as well. So thanks for indulging me there and leaning back. I'm also going to bring a little artistry into the space in the 3 minutes that I have of funk and talk a little bit about the test of an awesome person, because Aaron and Jody got me fired up. The whole team has got me fired up right now. So I'm coming forward with this. The test of a person, the test of an awesome person, is the fight that they make, the grit that they daily show, the way that they stand upon their feet and take life's numerous bumps and blows. A coward may fight when there's nothing to fear, but nothing their progress bars. It takes an awesome person to stand up and cheer when another awesome human is starring. It isn't the victory after all, but it's a fight that this awesome person makes with their head held high, sometimes bleeding, bruised, and pale, and fate defied, for they are not afraid to fail. And so I just wanted to drop those words on you really quick in the 3 minutes of funk that I have, because we have this super exciting panel. Whenever I get a chance to connect with award-winning programs, with servant hearts and servant spirits on this call, I try to leverage it for the fullest. And so I'm activated. Hopefully you're activated right now. Hopefully I'm just going to send some of this activation energy through the screen. And if you can feel that, I know you don't have any emoji access. So I'm seeing some emojis. That's awesome. You can put the happy emoji or something like that. You can even put the IRE, put IRE, IRE. That's a Jamaican patois for folks if we want to expand our horizons with language. Awesome, all kinds of things we can explore in the 2 minutes of funk that we have. And so I'm so feeling so grateful in this moment to bring forward these individuals to the stage. Saki Milton, founder and executive director of the GEMS Camp. Julee Brooks, CEO of Woodcraft Rangers. First of all, I know there's going to be some folks that are really, really bigging up the GEMS Camp, without question. My colleagues are like, wait a second, this GEMS Camp is off the chain. Woodcraft Rangers, I saw that with my own eyes, walking through that beautiful facility and those servant hearts that are serving young people on a daily basis. Miss Julee Brooks come to the stage. And then Timothy, I don't know what's going on in Philadelphia, but there's something special happening in the city of Philadelphia. Shout out to Rebecca Fabiana. I know she's on the call, and all those brilliant people I had a chance to see on the Get Ready for Summer tour. Shout out to Julee from Philly too, by the way. That's what I think about when I think of our great city of Philadelphia. And then Kevin Delecki, program manager, Cedar Rapids Public Library. Come on, we have libraries in the house on this list, without question. So shout out to not only Cedar Rapids Public Libraries, San Francisco Public Libraries, all the public libraries in our country, for sure. So from what I understand, y'all are all running excellent programs. And usually when I ask somebody, you run an excellent program, right? Some people shake their head and they go, yeah, we run an excellent program. And of course, the researcher in me is like, well, what evidence do you have to support that notion that you're excellent? And of course, excellent can mean different things to different people. And so I'd love, to hear your thoughts on it, because when I think about excellence, sometimes it could be outcomes, sometimes it can be equity, it can be creativity. And so how do you define excellence in the context of the program offering that you provide for children, youth, and families? Maybe you can tell a story or an example that illustrates how your program delivered that high quality experience to families. I mean, I saw the Woodcraft with my own eyes, but I'm super excited to hear about all of them. But why don't we start with Kevin, please, Philly.
Thanks, Brodrick. We have a little bit of a different experience in defining excellence because we don't have the way to objectively look at the way of the individual student path in an open to the full public library program. And so excellence means a little bit different to us. And for us, over the last number of years, excellence has really meant how do we provide access in the most equitable way to our entire population. And so that means taking the amazing things that we and every library does and getting that out to people who don't have access to it in any other way, whether that's in our community parks, whether that's in our justice system, whether that's in un or underfunded out of school time programs in our areas. What can we do to kind of flip that model on its head, and instead of welcoming people into our buildings, take what it is that we do best and bring it out into our entire community? And seeing programs change and people change because of that is the way that we celebrate the excellence in what we do.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Hopefully you're checking out the chat, because you're getting a lot of library love in the chat for sure. How about Julee, please? Same question. How do you define excellence in the context of Woodcraft Rangers?
Happy to. We measure things in a few ways, right? So we measure the individual outcomes of young people, right? Their social emotional learning growth, whether that's self-management or their ability to identify quality peers or mentors in their lives. So we certainly use those kinds of tools for individual outcomes. We look at dosage participation, right? How often are kids coming? And we know that that kids vote with their feet, and we know that their participation in defining the program and continuing to evolve is important. And then we have indicators for our staff too, right? We want to make sure that we are seeing the things that we want to see from each of our staff across our agency. And those are things, right, that really facilitate that sense of belonging for young people. But I want to share a little story that might illustrate how this all works together, because I think when we prepare our staff and we give the right structures, we see the excellence in action. And there were a group of elementary school students at one of our day camps, and we do both day and residential camps in the summer. They were actually working on a recyclable fashion show. And this is a really great, so kind of a project runway for, right, an upcycled project runway. And what we saw when we observed this program were all of these elements in action. It was youth-led. It was, right, these kids, elementary school, had devised this together. They were led by joyful and excited guides, right, our leaders that really put them first, but allowed them the creativity and the project-based learning and created the joyful environment for them to be able to succeed. And then finally, I think for our staff, there was a clarity of vision, right, to be able to execute. And that's just one example of the thousands that we saw this summer. But I think it indicates some of those core things that we want to see when it comes to excellence.
Totally. Thank you for that. I was just blown away about how many people I talked to when I was on the ground there that were actually previous participants. And so to see that pipeline from participant to executive staff member was just really compelling. So thank you for that. Without question. So we're going to stay on that same theme because I love to hear, perhaps Ms. Milton, if you can share excellence, that term. People throw it around all the time. We got to be excellent. We run excellent programs. What does that mean to you and in the context of your program?
Yeah, such a great word. And thank you for having me. It's such an honor to be here amongst my colleagues. I just want to build on what Julie is saying. You know, I think when we think of excellence at the GEMS camp, which actually stands for Girls Interested in Engineering, Mathematics, and Science, we measure lots of things as well. But I think the proof in our pudding is our cohort model and the fact that we do have a 92% retention rate year over year, pulling our girls through. So they're not just coming in for one summer, they're coming in and then they're like, hey, when is it open up for next summer? And they're reapplying through those middle school critical years. But not only that, after middle school, they then can apply to become part of that internship program where now they go back to the university campuses, back into that camp environment, but now on the administrative side, and to see all the Disney behind the scene magic, you know, that has to happen for you to have an amazing camp experience. And based on the feedback they give us from our focus groups and interviews that we do after that, is they really gained such an appreciation for all the work that went into their summer camp experience. It helps them become better, effective mentors that next year after becoming an intern, they can then apply to be a high school peer mentor like they had as a camper. But seeing them come through every year in a different role and creating a different summer experience based on where they are just developmentally, I would say is one of the key things that we use to measure how excellent of work we're doing or not. And as a result, you know, we've got a presidential award earlier this year, the beginning of this year, for our mentorship model. So that's all I have on that, but thank you.
Awesome. Congratulations on that recognition. That's so important. And thanks for reminding us that the proof absolutely has to be in the pudding, for sure. Like put the proof there, collect the data, like let's look at it, analyze it, talk about it, learn from it, leverage it to celebrate one another, leverage it to identify clear opportunities to grow and improve. Because I'd imagine all of you would say that you're not done on the journey, right? For excellence, that it's something that we just continue to do year over year. That's just how we do business. So thank you for reminding us of that. Same question, brother from Philly. Love to throw that to you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I really want to start with gratitude and saying thank you for the honor, for the opportunity to share. And I have to do a couple shout outs and share this because I didn't start this process. Abby Gunn, who I believe is on earlier, Beth Tomlinson, they were in the roles that Lonica and I are now holding, similar roles anyway. And they started the application process, and they started this program that Lonica and I get to brag about today. So excellence, we do have some great measures that we really enjoy. The NIOS tools, the assessment program that they have, the observations and feedback. We get student feedback and feedback from the service providers. The school district has a system of getting feedback from the teachers in the sites. We have a system of getting feedback from our provider staff and feedback sessions. We do parent caregiver surveys, and then I really like what I think Julie said. They vote with their feet. The kids keep coming back. So we're happy about that, and we're really happy with the growth of the program. I think 3 summers ago there were 2 literacy sites and 15 or 17 mega sites, and then we had 50 sites across Philadelphia. Now we're 59, serving 60 some school communities. And I think that the secret sauce for us has been the communication. So it's not the definition of excellence, but it helps us to get to excellence. So we have a lot of different offices, a lot of different people involved. There's Abby. I see her in the comments. I joke, but it's kind of true that everything about my job got easier when we exchanged phone numbers, when we had each other's cell phone numbers, and we could communicate and ping each other live time and say, hey, have you noticed this? Are you working on that? Did you see this? And now Lonica and I similarly carrying forward with that. So I'll leave it at that for right now. I know that we have much more to get to, but I'll leave it there for right now and then circle back as we discuss further.
Totally. Thank you, brother, for that. Appreciate you for sure. You've been sitting for a while, but you want to walk a mile, lean back. Lean back. You've been sitting for a while, but you want to walk 3 miles, lean back. Lean back. Come on, we on the call. We on the call. You know how we do it without question. Kind of reminds of the time we were all on Zoom all day, every day, but we're going to make it happen for sure. I remember being a young practitioner coming into a space, running a program probably for like the first or second time in my career. And somebody was like, well, you can't do it all by yourself. You got to have partnerships. You don't have any space to do your program. So you're going to have to establish a partnership, which is really just code word for try to find free space. Had nothing to do with this whole idea of like partnership. And so I know partnership is a big pillar of ours. We talk about, breaking down silos and, we're all trying to serve young people to the best of our ability. So could you talk to me a little bit about how you manifest this idea of a powerful partnership? Not one on paper, not one that probably needs to sunset or a legacy partnership, but one that really makes a difference. Describe one that you have that's like really being impactful in your space right now. We could start with Julie, perhaps.
Sure. And I just want to congratulate all the fellow honorees here and the incredible work that I'm hearing. So thank you, Brodrick, and we are so grateful for this as well. But I think when it comes to partnerships, so at Woodcraft, we are running 65 summer sites, serving over 6,000 young people in our day camp programs, and those are all in partnership with schools here. So, we also have an extended program where summer is creates continuity with our after school programs at those very sites as well. So that partnership runs deep, right? Where we're working with administrators, we're working with families, we're working with the young people themselves, and because each of those sites are bespoke. And I think that it is difficult to scale that, right? To make sure that it is responsive. Each site is entirely different, right? A different suite of enrichment based on student interest, based on school goals, based on community relevancy. And so that's really important. And our staff as well, you've mentioned it, Brodrick, but I think the partnership with our staff and with communities is so critical. You are right that over 40% of our staff have been in our programs before. And I actually want to give a shout out. I know Danny Salas, our incredible Chief Program Officer, is on the call today as well, who started as a soccer coach 20 years ago with the agency and now is our Chief Program Officer. But I think that illustrates our partnership goes deeper than a single single entity or a school, and it really is a holistic engagement with our communities. We've been around for 103 years, so it goes really deep at Woodcraft, right? Our legacy is powerful. But then we have program partnerships. Like this summer, we watched our high schoolers with the American Film and Television Academy and get in there with industry professionals and those things. So I think partnership just means so many things, and it takes all of that to create this kind of magic.
Thank you so much, Julie. And I know your staff and your folks are on the line. I'm just proud of all of y'all. I appreciate y'all. Keep doing what you're doing. Can't wait to come back out there. And in true out of school time style, Julie, how about you pick the next person to go?
I will popcorn it to Kevin.
Thanks, Julie. Partnerships are really kind of one of the hallmarks of what we do. We provide about 425 separate programs throughout the 8 weeks of our summer reading challenge, run by 7 people on my team. And so reaching those 11 to 12,000 people every summer that we do really requires reaching so far outside of just ourselves. The 2 partnerships that really spring to mind that really elevate the work that we do tie in really, really closely with NSLA. We work incredibly closely with our city's Parks and Recreation department. They've been an invaluable partner for years and really have elevated here in the last few years as we've started to equitably reach out into our community. And so we actually go alongside our Parks and Recreation department anywhere from 5 to 7 times a week to different city parks throughout the community, reaching areas that don't have easy access to our libraries, don't have easy access to the recreation opportunities afforded by our city, and really bringing the best of all of that into those parks for a couple of hours at a time. There's a story time, there's meals, there's different recreation opportunities, there's the technology from the library in terms of our emerging technologies that we have. We bring a circulating collection so that people can sign up for library cards and check out books right there in their city park, bring them back as well. We've seen incredible usage of that. We can heat map where those new library card signups are coming, and we can see little bullseyes around these parks that we're using where people who've just never physically had access to what we provide now have that because we're where they live. And so that's been a really incredible opportunity, serving thousands and thousands of people every summer. The other one is a little bit smaller, but no less impactful. We've started in the last few years partnering really closely with our 6th Judicial System, and specifically the Juvenile Detention and Diversion Services, where we actually go in every other week throughout the school year and every week in the summer and provide about 2 hours of hands-on literacy and STEM programming in the Juvenile Detention Center, working really closely with them. And then through a cohort through the Urban Library Council have actually started offering this really incredible internship program where we actually have begun offering internships to individuals who are graduating out of the Juvenile Detention and Diversion Services into an internship with the library for the summer. This is our 2nd year of doing that. And has been this really neat opportunity to build relationships with kids who are struggling and really need that first step outside of detention, and bringing them in and working with the library on understanding barriers that people have and how the community works and looks, and getting those touches from kind of inside this organization. The individual we had this summer has been incredible. His name was Deshay. Deshay was actually a library kid who worked himself out of being able to be in the library due to some choices that he made, ended up in detention after that, and then kind of full circle got hired in as that intern, completed an incredible internship with us this summer, actually connected with a local filmmaker because he's interested in going into acting, created an amazing video at the end of the summer, created a capstone summer program really intended to help middle schoolers who are at risk of detention see a better way out of that. And so seeing this full kind of full circle moment for him and in the work that we're doing there, it doesn't always have to result in huge outcome numbers, but those outcomes that can happen with that really intentional work and diving deep in with partners who care as much as you do about your community is a really powerful way to go.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you, brother, for all of that. I just think about divine. The divinity came to mind. You just dropped some divine knowledge on us, which I appreciate. If it feels a little dry, then go tap your thigh and lean back, lean back. If it feels a little dry, you just go ahead and tap your thigh and lean back, lean back. Fantastic. I know I'm going to get into it. We got a couple more voices around this idea of partnership. I want to open it up just in case there's additional thoughts around that. And we're actually a second or so ahead of schedule, so we got some time. Who would like to go? Hey, Kevin, how about you identify who would go next?
Let's go over to Saki.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. So when I think about powerful partnerships, we have several as well. But I would like to emphasize the university partnership because I feel like every city that we're in, whether you're rural or urban, for the most part, there's a university nearby. And we can really tap into those as nonprofits, as providers, by forming relationships because they have amazing spaces. They have graduate students, they have undergraduate students, they have researchers who are very keen to work with us and would like to partner. So I would highlight our partnership with Southern Methodist University here in Dallas, Texas. Um, it started out as a research-based partner practice based on an NSF grant that they had. And our girls were one of 9 organizations that were going on these math walks and to help develop an mobile AR based app, kind of like Pokemon Go, if you've ever played that, and allowed kids to see math all around them and truly try to redefine what is considered as mathematics and who is math abled, right? Because there's a lot of studies around that. And so what started out through that partnership during the school year in our school year program, where the girls actually developed 4 math walk videos at the Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center here. They then got to implement math walks in our summer program. And girls again formed teams, walked the campus, and started developing, looking for the math, taking those pictures, using those AR tools, and forming their own videos. And out of this relationship, it's not only partnering for the programming aspect, but we're also producing content. So everything the girls have published is on the Go Math Finder website. They participated in the podcast and other opportunities to give them exposure to share their voice on what they are doing in terms of understanding mathematics through this research partnership. In addition, why I chose SMU is because we've been able to work with them to actually publish research. So we've presented our work to several different peer-reviewed publications and conferences on generative AI when the girls had to use generative AI to create some math video games. We published one on just identity and understanding girls' identity, underrepresented backgrounds in summer camps, data science. There's a recent publication that we just put out on podcasting and how powerful podcasting can be in STEM to help girls. So again, our universities are not only places where we can host our programs, but they can get involved with the researchers, the graduate students who can serve as teachers, but then also teaching our community members and our students what is it like to be a co-researcher and to have a voice out there and to be able to say, I did this, look at my work, but also to understand how that greater work plays forward in terms of research-based work that other organizations can learn from.
Gems. I didn't know y'all were going to be dropping gems all day on this call. So thank you so much. We appreciate that for sure. I'm just taking a peek over in the chat real quick. Shout out to Brother Santini, Carlos Santini, and Mizzen. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate all the love that's being shared in the chat. I know I want to leave it open for some more chat on partnerships. If folks have something really strongly you want to share about partnerships, I'd like to leave a moment just for that.
Yeah, I want to jump in just because I mentioned our partnership with the school district of Philadelphia. So the city and the district has a really strong partnership. And I referenced, my interactions, my office's interactions with Lanik and Abby and their office there. But really the relationship is very tall. There's many pieces. Our legal teams have to work together on MOUs, and then I work with our legal team on an MOU, and then Marina, who I think I saw on the call earlier, was on an MOU work with a data sharing agreement. Abby was working on their MOU as well. So there's the law departments, there's performance management and technology, and research and evaluation. A really unique thing happened where our system of record, the city system of record, and the school district system of record can now talk, and that took a lot of that's pretty significant. We worked with the legal teams, we worked with the research and evaluation, performance technology to get the data to be what it needed to be so the systems could talk. Cut out a bunch of hours of late night work of lining up who is who and such. But we're able to share tools in that way. Then we have our provider and school partnership. So at our schools, we have our OST providers. There's the teachers and the principals and the lead teacher for the summer programs. And then on the provider side, there's the whole chain of command, group leaders, site director, and then executive directors of programs. And they talk routinely. Let's see, I wanted to highlight one of those situations and tell a quick story. We had a situation where one school was closed. So that provider and lead teacher needed to meet in another school that already had a lead teacher and a provider established. And those communications, there's a communication pattern all set, and they knew expectations. They knew who would be where, when, and how. And now we have a whole new structure coming in, and there were some challenges. I won't get into all of them, but I mean everything from which entrance to use and what rooms to use and how to leave a room when you're done in there. And it became a point of friction really early in the summer. And shout out to Lanika, who she and I got together, brought both teams together, sat down, talked it out, identified everybody's communication styles or patterns and everybody's underlying unmet needs that was causing the friction and challenges, and worked it out. And I think it really was a demonstration of my office and Lanika's office, our ability to communicate and work together, as well as the site directors communicating with their lead teachers and principals, and then two providers talking together, two site directors talking together, two lead teachers and school district staff talking together. And it was really neat. But you know, those sort of things in the data share agreement, that stuff is contentious and difficult and delayed and becomes not a priority when you don't have the open communication and the effective relationships.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for those gems. And folks certainly love hearing about it if you're taking a peek at the chat right there. So it would not be unusual for you to show up at one of my programs and just randomly hear me shout out, if you're feeling the love and it fits like a glove, what do you think everybody's going to do in that room? They're going to lean back, lean back, lean back, right? Because it's just something that we do in our program. Is somewhat ritualistic. It's unique. It's different. The next time that you see me at a conference somewhere in the country, you're going to look at me and you're going to say something that rhymes, and then everybody's just going to lean back, and we're just going to lean back. And it connects us, right? You're not going to attend another panel ever where somebody says, lean back, right? And so that's one of the things I really appreciate about the space that we occupy in out of school time. Nabila's in the program at math course. She's standing at the board doing a math problem. Everybody's going like this. Everybody's going like, do you remember standing at the board in a math class, not knowing the answer to the problem? How empowering is it to have the whole class behind you like this? Just a show of sign of support and solidarity and love. And if you're feeling that love and it fits like a glove, then just lean back, lean back. If you could talk to me a little bit about what makes your programs unique. What are some of the special things that you do? Sort of, I know ritual is a strong word, but some things that you perhaps do regularly that people look forward to. It just becomes a part of the DNA of your program. Any thoughts? And we'll leave it open to whoever would like to go first.
I'll kick it off. Yeah, one of the things I love about the GEMS camp, and I reflect back to when I started it, and I was a middle school math teacher at the time, and kind of used my spring break to say, you know, I want to do something different for girls, and out of my own observations in my middle school math class, watching them year over year in middle school kind of shrink back and start pretending like they're not as smart or they're not as capable. And so for me, belonging and rigor go hand in hand. I feel like if girls know that they belong, then they will rise to the occasion and vice versa, you know, and it's okay to take risks. Even if you aren't the top student, it is totally okay. We're all here to learn, we're all here to grow. And at the GEMS camp, we have a thing where I was really adamant about we celebrate everything. Like you showed up, that's a win. You know, somebody didn't show up for themselves today, you showed up for your future. So one of the things that we do on a daily basis is we kick off, you know, after breakfast we kick it off with what we call our morning bling, and this is our opportunity to highlight the girls, to share, you know, some of the pictures captured yesterday, some of the fun things. We call our girls gems. So, you know, they're in the circle, they recite the mission statement. We have a chant to J-Lo's Let's Get Loud. You know, we do our claps. We highlight the gem of the day. She gets a tiara. Like all of this is in a STEM camp. And I know when people visit it, it kind of looks a little over the top, but that does so much for a middle school girl who's in the critical phase of building her identity, and her, especially her identity in math and science, to be able to be celebrated like that. And the gem of the day is chosen by the mentor. So those high school and college girls who are looking after them as you know, as the big sisters of the camp, and we cheer them on. They get to wear that all day. They really feel special. We take a picture, we text it to the parents. Of course, the parents are now happy and excited. And we're not just doing that like to pick certain girls. We have other forms of recognition in our morning bling. We give out our 8 Keys of Excellence award, and those are character-based awards like speaking with good purpose and failure leads to success, and integrity, things that we feel that girls demonstrated that day. We want to have the opportunity to recognize them in that morning bling. We even have something what we call put a ring on it. It's just one of those little glow up rings, and that's passed out throughout the day when we just notice you doing a kind act, a sisterly act towards someone, because we know that middle school girls can be very mean, very cliquish, and so we want to deter that type of activity in our program. And so our morning ritual, that morning bling, is when we really kick it off. We set it off with the awards. Everybody's exciting. In that way, we can start layering on the rigor throughout the day.
Thank you so much for that. Honestly, I feel like I need to change my morning routine right now and get some morning bling in my life. Getting up, singing a song, and totally in contrast to where I'm at right now. So it's awesome that you can look to the young people for guidance in those spaces. Fantastic. So we have just a few more minutes left. I'd love to open it up, and one closing question and maybe some advice for folks in the time that we have left. We have about five to go here.
I can speak to ritual as well a little bit, Brodrick, if that's okay.
Please. Thank you.
So yeah, so Woodcraft, as I mentioned, we've been around for 6 generations, well, going on 6 generations in Los Angeles. We've had the same mission for 100 years of guiding young people as they pursue pathways to purposeful lives. So tradition and legacy is really critical to us. And I think I spoke about that in our staff, but we also have rituals. And Saki, that's hard to follow, by the way. But so one of the things is we've been doing outdoor education for that entire 103 years, and we integrate a lot of our classic camp traditions into our day camps and still our residential camp that we run all summer long. So one of the things that we do, we spend a lot of time on reflection and making sure that that kids have a chance, the young people have a chance to reflect on, right, their experiences and really let those lessons sink in and create bonds together. So every afternoon, whether it's our residential camp or our day camps across LA County, we do what we call Camp Mingle, and we've been doing Camp Mingle for decades, for generations. It has, yeah, Saki, it also has some traditional elements, right? We have chants and we have those kinds of things, but it's just a time to close out the day, to let the learnings and the experience of the day kind of sink in, to marinate, to reflect. And that's something that's always been an important piece to us as far as our legacy. But we've been doing some of the same chants for the whole time. And I think it really it means a lot when you're part of something bigger, right? So, and just the final thing is one of the core ethos of Woodcraft that's been around for 100 years is our commitment to access and inclusion, which has been our North Star since 1915, which is really remarkable, and that remains our North Star, and I think our whole team knows that's true.
Totally. Gems, gems, gems are being dropped all over this webinar this afternoon. Thank you so much for that. I know our time is really brief. We probably got time for another comment there on that last issue we were chatting about. Got time for one more for sure. Anyone can drop. Okay, great, fantastic. You know how we do it. You stay quiet for 11 seconds and, be comfortable with silence. But as we take off and close this panel out, I was curious, because innovation is really much a big part of what we tend to focus on as one of our 4 I's. And if you can talk about a new or promising practice or something that you're testing, piloting, trying out in your programmatic spaces, you can tell us a little bit about that and maybe some advice for us as we go into the summer of 2026, all in 2 minutes.
I'll jump real quick effort. Right now, we're trying to align things. We have multiple funding. We have providers who have multiple funding streams, multiple convenings, multiple professional development requirements, standards across all this sort of stuff. So I'm really trying to simplify life for our provider network. Really trying to work with the other funders and other partners and other stakeholders to say what else is happening and where can we maybe meet at the same time or on a cadence that makes a little bit more sense. We have a locator that we can offer. We have data tools, these sort of things, and so not just for our funded programs, but we really want to we want to make reinforce all the programs that we do fund and where we do partner, but we really want to make the whole universe of OST in Philadelphia provide access to best practices, to innovative practices, to tools that we can share in those sort of ways.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank all of you so much. Saki, Julie, Timothy, Kevin, everybody just give a collective shout for these great individuals. We appreciate your time, energy, and all the information and gems you dropped on this call. I do have to shout out everybody who dropped some energy in the chat. Like that type of interaction is always welcome. And it's great to see the words that are being said on these things activating people in real time. So thank you so much for that. It's so important to make sure that every single young person that we come into contact with is met by a staff person that has the knowledge and the skill and the competency, the disposition, the attitude to serve young people at a really high level, because that's what they deserve without question. And so it's been an honor and a privilege to join you all today on this webinar and this particular exciting all-star panel. And with that, I get to actually transition back over to my partner in service, Natalia.
Thank you. Thank you, Brodrick. Our award winners are truly exceptional. Congratulations to each of you. And thank you for sharing those moments where your program shines. We are just so happy to be able to lift up the good work that you do so that others can take those great best practices and copy them and make them their own, and the good high quality summer experiences that Nabila kicked us off with will continue to grow and thrive. Switching gears a little bit, in my line of work as the head of partnerships for NSLA, I get to sit at the intersection of programs benefiting from high quality resources, tools, and investments. And we love to share good people and good product that'll help strengthen these programs. So what's next is I get to welcome one of my favorite humans, Mr. Schwartz. He is the co-CEO of S&S Worldwide. They are a four generations family-led company serving the education, recreation, and community programs for over 100 years. Please welcome Mr. Schwartz.
Hi, everyone, and thank you to the National Summer Learning Association for hosting this important event. My name is Hai, and I'm the co-CEO of S&S. For nearly 120 years, we've supported schools, after-school programs, and youth-serving organizations in helping children thrive inside and outside the classroom. We all know why summer learning matters. Without it, students often lose ground in reading and math, and those setbacks don't just affect test scores, they impact confidence, engagement, and long-term growth. That's why your work in out-of-school time is so essential. You not only reinforce academics, you also nurture curiosity, resilience, and connection. But we know this work isn't easy. Behind every activity is planning, pressure, and logistics, and that's where S&S comes in. We help make it easier so you can focus on shaping futures. Today, we're thrilled to launch our partnership with NSLA. Together, we're developing exclusive products and resource kits designed to fuel academic learning year-round, especially during summer. A portion of the proceeds will directly support NSLA so you can continue the vital work you do. And in the coming weeks, during your PLC breakouts, you'll all be invited to give feedback on these resources so that your ideas help shape the final products. We're also excited to introduce our winter break learning bags. Ready to go, age-graded kits filled with hands-on activities in literacy, math, and creative expression. Each bag comes with a custom parent guide to maximize screen-free family engagement. They're simple for schools to distribute, meaningful for families to use together, and every purchase directly supports NSLA. Because at the end of the day, student success should never be interrupted. Our role is to make it easier for you to help kids succeed. Thank you. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me directly or visit us at ssww.com.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Hi. We are excited about this partnership, and we are excited about the winter bags and keeping kids learning. Thank you very much. Great. So now it's my pleasure to turn it over to a little bit about NSLA's programming and planning and training. We equip teams with research-based guidance and practical tools to design and deliver high-quality summer programs. And to show these resources and how they continuously drive quality improvement, here's my colleague, again, Brodrick Clarke, to tell you about NSLA's self-assessment tools that will help you do just that. Brodrick, over to you.
Thank you, Natalia. I'm super excited to be here without question. Every single moment is an awesome moment. Don't want the moment right now to go past without acknowledging that fact and really rejoicing in the fellowship that is on this call. I appreciate each and every one of you. Once again, my name is Brodrick Clarke. I'm serving as Vice President of Programs with the National Summer Learning Association. And I've actually had no other career job than being in the service of children, youth, and families. It's really been a great ride, to be quite frank. I thought I was coming out of college the first time to be a television producer and work on sets and that kind of thing. And like many of my colleagues, ran into this amazing field called youth development. And I haven't turned back since. And it's really been close to, I may date myself right now, but it's all good. I'm almost close to 30 years serving children, youth, and families in these spaces. Of course, these days, as a nonprofit executive here with the National Summer Learning Association, really trying to be a resource and influence folks on the ground to ensure that they have a connection to the very best practices that staff need so that they can walk into these spaces and make them vibrant. They can walk into these spaces and get 2 pieces of paper and 2 pencils and create an entire program for 6 weeks, because that's just what we do. We have that capability, that ability to, what's the word that we used to use a few years ago? Pivot on a dime. Like, we've been pivoting on a dime for what seems like the entire existence of out of school time. And so I put all that out there to say that I came across a lot of different things that I hope people are still using in some way, shape, or form. I ran across the Search Institute. Folks remember the Search Institute? Look them up. You might remember the 40 developmental assets. I don't know if there's any asset builders out there. You might be doing some of the NIOS work, National Institute on Out of School Time, my friends there. You might be doing the APAS, so you might be doing the SEO tools and all that good stuff. You may be a PQA person or a program quality assessment person. I know many states continue to still leverage the program quality assessment, and maybe you even have a copy of our beloved summer learning program quality assessment tool. You know, the summer learning program quality assessment tool, the one with scales in it like higher order thinking and math and literacy scales, because summer learning is an academic experience. Is that correct? You can drop an emoji somewhere, just like if we're in lockstep with that, you know, without question. And of course, you know, we have our own homegrown comprehensive assessment of summer programs. But if you have not seen that before or connected with it, know even what I'm talking about relative to those tools, I would highly encourage you to run to the resource section of a couple places. The Wallace Foundation has an awesome spot in their website with great resources that has packed with stuff. You can go to Forum for Youth Investment. Their resources section is packed with stuff. You can come to the National Summer Learning Association's website. It's packed with stuff. Don't forget about our friends at PAIR. They helped wrote the book alongside us, right? Our friends at PAIR, Dr. Gil Noam, Jamal, come on. We've been working together to bring some stuff from this guide out into the field at scale. So excited to be working with Jamal from PAIR, talking about training of trainers, models that we're building around this, to really make sure that folks connect with the model. How many times have you heard Clover, the Clover model? You probably heard it in other settings with our friends at PAIR. But unless we take the stuff that are in these books right here, I know I got my background on there, it's hard to see. This is my original Summer Starts in September guidebook, by the way. It's the OG guidebook. If you still have it, you're in good shape. But know that we bring all of those ideas and then some, because our friends at PAIR added the Clover model. Our friends at PAIR added that the dimensions of summer learning. Did you know that there were dimensions of summer learning, by the way? I did not know that there were dimensions of summer learning until I connected with it. I'm like, oh, okay, now I can put two together. Because if I can see it, then I can be it. If I can read it and connect with it, I can internalize it, and then I can move forward and hopefully show some compelling evidence of these ideas that we invest so much time and energy on professional development experiences like this and others, in person, virtual, what have you. It would be a tragedy if we don't bring those things into the classroom. We did a Gallup poll recently. I don't know if you heard of it. Gallup, wonderful polling organization, did a poll with us. Shout out to AASA for helping us out with that. Shout out to our friends at the American Camp Association and everybody that was involved in creating those Gallup polls. And there's a lot of stuff that's in there I'm not going to go over right now in the 2 minutes that I have left. But there is one piece that kind of struck me and activated me on so many different levels. That over 50% of the young people that are already connected to programs, these are not the ones who are trying to get in programs, but the ones that are already in it, don't even identify strongly with what's being offered, are not interested and have a lack of interest. And with everything that's going on in the world of education, that's one thing that I can actually do something about, right? I have some control over that. It's me who comes in as the practitioner into the building with the knowledge and skill and the competency to know that I can't just build it and hope that the kids will come. I can't seduce them with cheese sticks and you know, snacks and spaghetti dinners and hope that they'll show up, right? But I do know that if I build it alongside them and I co-create these spaces and I have staff that is super skilled to be able to do that really well, that you can't keep those young people away from those programmatic spaces. As a matter of fact, they'll help and assist the adult caregivers in those spaces to really drive and be a co-architect of their own growth and development, which is ultimately what we want, without questions. I have a grandson now. He's going to be 3 years old. Yeah, I've been around for a little while. And I've seen initiatives and things come and go, but this is one that we can all grab onto and make sure that we continue to beat the drum. I say quality, you say matters. Quality matters. Quality matters. It will always matter. Matter of fact, we started out our panel with quality talk. It's not going to disappear. And I know that the moment that we're all in has our attention perhaps on other things and survival. And in survival, you know, some things get left on the cutting room floor. But that's one thing, and I would encourage you to make sure that we don't take our foot off the gas. Making sure that if those young people show up in these places and spaces, that you co-create with them to survive and thrive, that they're met by a staff person who has the knowledge and the skill and the competency to serve them at a high level. And NSLA stands ready to help you to do that, not just for one program. Well, it's awesome when it happens at one program. I've seen many in the 50 programs in 50 days tour and the Get Ready for Summer tour. There are many out there. But even those folks that are awesome will still say that there's room to grow and improve. And we can help you do that along with our friends at PAIR. So thank you so much for your time and energy. I'll turn it right back over to my partner in service, Natalia Soul.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Brodrick. I just want to give a shout out to all of our speakers, our partners, and our programs on the front lines who are with us today and who are out there in the field serving families and kids. I think that the through line today is really clear. And when we align evidence and partnerships and culture, summer becomes a season of opportunity, and those gains are carried out throughout the school year. We hope you'll join us all tomorrow for a special meet and greet with our amazing PLC leaders, professional learning community leaders. We will have discussions on hot topics in each sector, and this will be your chance to really connect with these individuals, join your peers across the country, and speak up about things that matter to you in your particular program. Thank you to our generous sponsors for making this possible: Lavinia Group, New York Life Foundation, S&S Worldwide, Waterford.org, Learn Fresh, MedEsh, Scholastic, and the Wallace Foundation. On behalf of NSLA, thank you all for investing your time and talent. We'll follow up with links to resources and templates shared today. I'm Natalia Sol, and it has been a pleasure to be with you. Have a great afternoon.